Good day to you and welcome, I'm Bakerization, and today I want to talk a bit about Brawl, because some of the latest Brawls weren't so great. Well, at least we had some new stuff in there, that's always great, but once again there's randomonium. And well, as you can see, it lags a bit, so the latest patch which added again a few extra Brawls, which I'm really looking forward to actually somehow mess the performance and loading times and all these little things. And that's a bit of a problem. But I'm not gonna talk about technical issues, I'm gonna talk about the Brawl itself. So again, we have randomonium, which we have seen already a few times if I remember correctly, and it's one of those brawls where you get random cards for your deck and those cards get random costs, which there's a lot of random in it, right? That's not a bad idea actually, that's the one thing that I really like, because even new players don't have to have really vast library in which they could actually use all the different cards properly. For example, we've seen some brawls where people with a huge library had a lot of extra power just because they had, for example, Alexstrasza. And if you didn't have Alexstrasza, you were almost always beaten. So this brawl actually allows even new players, even low-level players, casual players, to get an extra pack and, you know, get into it a bit, play a few more games. But I still think that it would be much better to have again something a bit more iconic. Something that would be not that RNG based, but a bit more skill based, but still didn't require a lot of a lot of extra cards or a lot of cards in your library. The good example of this is actually was the first one, the very first Brawl, Nefarian versus Ragnaros, and I wonder why don't we get any more of those? It could be something really almost some could almost say lame, such as putting two iconic cards against each other. It would be interesting to see Gromash or Grom Hellscream as a hero. It would be really interesting to see Antonidas as a hero and have a clash between those two. Yes, it would require a lot of preparation, but having one of those brawls at least like every month or two would be still great. I would still love to play again that Nefarian versus Ragnaros because it was so great, and it could be done in so many little ways that for example, we had that brawl where you chose two cards. And yes, again, this is one of those where a vast library is better because you have more combinations. But it could be interesting to see, for example, having 5 with unlimited usage. You could actually have them, let's say, 3 up to 7 or something like that. It would be interesting to see a deck which would have to consist of 10 cards, each of them being 3 in a deck. Once again, it's a small thing that would encourage people to think about Hearthstone and think about the creation of deck. And that's something that Brawl had an opportunity to do, because people in Standard or in Wild tend to think in boxes, and really thinking outside of box is not that good in there, just because, well, it's usually rubbish. But in Brawl there is this space where you can experiment, where the player could experiment. And even outside of standard rules of Hearthstone, which is something completely different, and it would be a mixture of a ranked, or let's say standard mode or wild mode, and an arena. Because in arena you sometimes get those a player who has 4 flame strikes. Just go on YouTube and take a look at 7 swipes. That's really ridiculous. Those decks are amazing because people don't play around it, and it would be such a tremendous and entertaining experience to have something like that inside the Brawl. Right now what happens on the screen is something that you can't also see in ranked or casual play. Just double Cho'Gall and, well, 4 Cho'Galls. Like, that's ridiculous. And I'm glad that I have played this game because, well, I actually saw this Volage, or what's his name, be good, which doesn't happen often, if ever. So I think that there is a place and there's a space for improvement in Brawl, and more there is space in improvement of design of Brawls. Just Blizzard just has to be more, I'd say less lazy would be the proper wording. Yes, stop being lazy, stop trying to cash cow it, and just do something for the players again. Just something really small. Even if you were to bring back Ragnar's against Nefarian, that would still be great. So if you have any of your ideas, please comment below. I hope that you enjoy this. Well, thanks for watching and see you next time.